I should never have reported him. I know how that sounds. I know what you are thinking. That I did the right thing. That reporting a thief is what any decent person would do. That I had no reason to expect what came after. You are right on all counts. But I would give anything to go back to that Tuesday afternoon and keep walking. To mind my own business. To let an old man slip a gold watch into his coat pocket and disappear into the crowd and take whatever darkness he carried with him somewhere far away from me. I didn't do that, and I have been paying for it ever since. It started in the supermarket. Ordinary Tuesday. I was there for a few things, nothing important, the kind of errand you do without thinking, the kind of afternoon that should leave no mark on your memory whatsoever. I saw him near the jewelry display. An old man, 70s, perhaps older. It was difficult to tell because there was something about his age that felt less like a number and more like a quality. Like he had been old for a very long time. Longer than any person has a right to be. He was thin, pale in a way that had nothing to do with skin tone, a deeper paleness, the kind that comes from somewhere inside. He wore a long, dark coat despite the warmth of the day, and he moved with a stillness that I noticed before I noticed anything else about him. Not the slowness of age, something more deliberate than that, something more careful. I watched him lift the gold watch from the display case. I watched him look at it for a long moment, not with the furtive glance of someone checking whether they are being observed, but with a slow, almost reverent attention, like a man reuniting with something that had always belonged to him. Then he put it in his coat pocket, and then he looked up, directly at me. I have thought about that moment many times since, about the look on his face when he realized I had seen him. Most people, caught in the act of stealing, show some version of fear or guilt, or the particular calculation of someone deciding how to talk their way out of a situation. He showed none of those things. He looked at me the way you look at something you have already decided the fate of. Calm, patient, certain. I looked away. I told myself it was none of my business. I pushed my trolley 3 aisles further and told myself to forget it, and lasted approximately 4 minutes before I found a member of staff and told them what I had seen. Security was called. The old man was found near the exit. The watch was recovered from his coat pocket. As they led him away, he turned and looked at me one final time across the length of the store. He didn't say anything. He didn't need to. I drove home 40 minutes later and found my front door unlocked. I was certain I had locked it. I am always certain. I am the kind of person who checks twice, who jiggles the handle, who stands on the doorstep for an extra moment, making sure. I had locked it. I knew I had locked it. But it was open. And inside, my house was scattered. Not ransacked the way a burglary looks. Drawers pulled out, valuables taken, the logic of someone searching for something worth stealing. This was different. This was every room touched in a way that felt less like searching and more like communication. A chair moved 3 feet from where it should be. Books pulled from shelves and laid flat. A glass of water placed in the exact center of the kitchen floor, upright, not spilled, as though someone had set it there with great care and great deliberateness. Nothing taken, nothing broken, just everything slightly, wrongly moved. I called the police. They came, they looked, they found no signs of forced entry and no evidence of anything taken, and they left with the carefully neutral expressions of people who have decided privately that a resident moved their own things and forgot. That first night, I barely slept. The second night, I didn't sleep at all, because at exactly 3 in the morning, from the kitchen directly below my bedroom, came the sound of something falling. I lay completely still and listened. Then from the hallway, something else, a heavier sound. Then from the room beside mine, a slow, dragging sound that crossed the floor, from one wall to the other, and stopped. I did not go downstairs. I am not ashamed of that. I lay in my bed with the covers pulled up and my eyes open and my phone in my hand, and I waited for morning with the particular desperation of someone counting minutes. In the morning, I found the kitchen chair overturned, the hallway mirror face down on the floor. In the room beside mine, my study, the desk had been moved 18 inches from where it stood against the wall. The window was locked, the doors were locked. Whatever had moved those things had not needed a door. This continued for 6 nights. Every night at 3 in the morning, the sounds began. Every morning I found something moved, something overturned, something repositioned with that same awful deliberateness. Never broken, never violent, always careful, always intentional, like something making a point. Like something that wanted me to understand that it could do whatever it wanted in my home, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. On the 7th night, I dreamed of him. The old man from the supermarket was standing at the foot of my bed. Same dark coat, same pale ancient quality, same terrible patience in his eyes. In the dream I could not move, could not speak, could only watch as he reached into his coat pocket and withdrew the gold watch and held it up between us, letting it turn slowly on its chain in the dark. He looked at me the way he had looked at me across the supermarket floor, like something that had already decided. And then he moved toward me. I woke up screaming. 3 in the morning, exactly. The kitchen below me erupting with sound, every drawer, every cupboard, every surface giving way at once, in a single tremendous crash that shook the ceiling above me. I was out of the house in 4 minutes. I drove to my sister's and sat in her spare room with the light on until the sun came up, and I told her everything, and watched her face move through the same careful expressions I had seen on the police officers, and decided that I was done explaining myself to people who hadn't been in that house at 3 in the morning. I booked a flight that afternoon. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. I packed 1 bag, locked my house, checked the lock twice, 3 times, 4 times, standing on the doorstep in the thin morning light, feeling the particular absurdity of a person who knows that locks are no longer the point, and I left. The country I flew to I will not name. It doesn't matter where it was. What matters is that it was far. What matters is that the first night I spent there, in a small hotel room with thin walls and a window that looked out over an unfamiliar street, I slept from 10 in the evening until 7 in the morning, without waking once. No sounds, no moved furniture, no dream of pale eyes and a turning watch. Nothing. I stayed for 3 months. I slept every night. I ate well. I walked in daylight through streets that had no memory of me, and felt slowly and carefully like a person again. I came home eventually. I had to. Life does not pause indefinitely for hauntings. My house was exactly as I had left it. Nothing moved. Nothing overturned. The study desk against the wall where it belonged. The kitchen chairs in their correct places. It has been quiet ever since. But here is the thing I need you to understand. The thing I'd have told nobody until now. Sitting here at whatever hour this is, with the house quiet around me, and the street dark outside, and the particular stillness of a night that hasn't decided yet what it is going to do. I still dream of him. Not every night, not even every week, but he comes back. That pale ancient face, that dark coat, that gold watch turning slowly on its chain. And he looks at me the way he has always looked at me. Like something that has not finished. Like something that is simply waiting. And I have begun to wonder, sitting here, in the quiet, in the dark, whether the haunting didn't stop because I left. Whether it stopped because he decided to let me think it had. Whether patience, for something like him, is not a virtue, but a strategy. I reported an old man stealing a watch in a supermarket on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. I don't know what he was. I don't know where he came from, or where they took him, or whether the people who led him out of that store understood what they were handling. I know what happened to my house for 7 nights afterward. I know what stood at the foot of my bed. And I know this: if you ever find yourself in an ordinary place, on an ordinary day, and you see something that feels wrong, something that moves too carefully, and looks at you too long, and carries a stillness that has no business being on a living face, look away. Walk away. Mind your own business. Because some things in this world do not want to be seen, and the ones that let you see them anyway are the ones you should be most afraid of.